Have you ever noticed somebody walking into a room and you just drop everything? You look at them, you see how calm they are, how confident they are, how composed they are. Well, I'll teach you how to do this, and you can give anybody that experience. But you got to do one thing. You got to practice it all the time. Now, I'm a board certified practicing family doctor, and many years ago, my patient experiences were horrible. I was coming into a room, not like this, but more like, oh, let me look on my computer. Oh, I've noticed that you have this. What about this? And then interrupting them and then saying things that I'm judging myself. So at the same time, I'm judging them without even knowing it. I'm not empathetic towards myself. So I'm not understanding them. I'm not understanding that they're taking a long time to come in. However, when I slowed this process down and said, look, let me come into the room like this, take my stethoscope here and just walk into the room. Put it down. Slowly come, sit down. Hey, thanks for your patience, for coming in early to your appointment. I appreciate you taking time to fill everything out before you came in. That way we can spend more time. So let's make the best use of your time today and let's see what we can get to. So you can see how that's different from this. What's your last name and date of birth? So different, right? So let's go over a couple of insights. I was reading about this and I've read many different books on this. The charisma myth, the confidence gap, and also what every body is saying. And some of these things we'll talk about charisma and what you can do. And people think about charisma as something that people just know. A lot of these actors that you see have learned it. If you look at some old videos from Brad Pitt, he's learned it. But now what is he doing? He's smiling with his eyes. He's talking when he's smiling. So these are some things that you can learn to have better experiences. Now, you may not be a doctor, but still you'll be able to give people better experiences if you're calm, relaxed, you're focused, you feel like you're confident in what you're saying because you know it. And if you don't, you just listen, you show them kindness, and then you have a vision, meaning that you want to give them a better experience. So let's look at some of these things. Insight and medical evidence. When you see somebody like this, what you're witnessing is what's called co-regulation. And what that means is that, let's say you open your hands up, you speak slowly, and then you pause. What's happening is that their limbic system and there's non-conscious mimicry that happens with this. When someone feels emotionally dysregulated, that means nervous or anxious, and kind of moving around like this, then they're not composed. Their brain picks up on your cues, especially if they're nonverbal. Imagine just relaxing like this. It can take some practice, and you want to do this all the time. When I'm like sitting here, like when I come home, when I come into work initially, I'll just sit like that, and it feels calming. And, when you open up your body language, you feel more relaxed. But if you're like this, you have 30 tabs open, you're drinking coffee, that's when you're completely dysregulated. And then the fidgeting, the touching, all of those are stress responses. But when I walk in slowly, as I'm reading this here, you develop homeostasis and you're modeling safety and control. And the body naturally seeks homeostasis. So the nervous system tries to match yours. It's not conscious either. So it mirrors neurons. I'm just saying this because I've seen so many patients that are nervous, fidgeting, looking, their foot are pointing everywhere, they're moving a lot. But after a little bit of time, there was a patient recently just went like that and just relaxed. And I was like so amazed because they're mirroring your image. That's number one. The body mirrors you without even realizing it. Number two is that your eye contact and stillness equals emotional leadership. The fact that you don't rush to my computer, the fact that I don't do that, instead I break eye contact gently and look. I'll look at them, break eye contact to the left, look at them, and then pause and then speak. I'm conveying to them that nothing is urgent. I'm not in a hurry to fix or judge you or rush you, and I'm here with you instead of behind or ahead of you. This is what psychologists call secure attachment moment, even within minutes. And the feeling is very rare, especially in clinical settings, because people feel rushed, especially when they're standing up. Oh my gosh. When doctors are standing up talking to patients, that could be the worst because they're just like, they don't know. You're in an emergency room setting, it's different. But even if you sit down as an emergency room doctor and just say, look, What are you in for? It can be just that simple where patients will respond, open up right away. Evidence exists for this. Number three is physical openness equals subconscious invitation. When I describe this body language, right side here is the left, opened up, relaxed shoulders, retracted shoulders, grounded legs. One is in front of the other. I'm not crossing my arms. I'm signaling safety. I'm not fidgeting. This indicates non-defensiveness. And patients don't think this in words, but their primitive brain or their amygdala will say, he's not a threat. He's not trying to dominate me. And then I can breathe a little bit. Over a few minutes, that sense of threat diminishes immediately. And then they unconsciously begin mirroring you. Imagine that. You walk in, you have somebody who you want to give them a good experience, empower them, give them some good, I don't like to say positive, but good empathetic energy. Let's call it that. We're not going to call it positive or negative because that becomes judgmental. By just relaxing, signaling safety, opening your palms, looking at them, breaking eye contact for a second, looking back, maybe smiling with your and talking with your smile, especially a genuine one. So that really works. Number four, they're probably not. They're probably thinking he's a little different. He's calm, not controlling. He actually sees me. He's not trying to fix me immediately. They may not verbalize this, but the subtext of their experience is deep. Maybe I'm safe with this person, and it's healing in and of itself. Imagine if you are in a situation where you're in a relationship where you're developing some resentment, you don't like what they're doing. Imagine if you just go down and sit down. There's something that I'm resenting right now about myself. If I don't talk to you about it, I'm not looking for an apology. I'm not looking for you to say sorry. Instead, I just want to express myself so I don't develop these resentments and do things that I don't want to. How do you feel about that? Some of these things that I've seen over the years in like literature, in people talking, YouTube videos, I like the idea of these things, but unless you manage to figure out ways to forgive yourself, practice mindfulness, practice compassion techniques on yourself, this is going to be very challenging. But I'm just showcasing some of these things because it's amazing, some of the patient experiences that I've seen. So let's just recap this really quick. Number one, they'll mirror your image without realizing it and relax subconsciously. Your eye contact and stillness will equal emotional leadership. Number three, your physical openness is subconscious invitation, open body language. Four, they're probably thinking he's different. That's because relaxed, composed, calm will equal better experience. Namaste.